Here's a striking truth. 42% of Generation Z trusts debit cards more than credit cards when making purchases. But here's where it gets controversial. This confidence in debit over credit reveals a deeper, more complex relationship with money that many might overlook. Generation Z, the first generation to grow up fully immersed in the digital economy, isn't just defined by what they buy, but by how boldly and confidently they manage their finances. According to the PYM-NTS intelligence report titled Gen Z Financial Habits Put Debit, Wallets and Influencers in Charge, this group places immense trust in digital wallets, debit payment systems, and social media influencers, often valuing these factors as much as the actual transactions themselves. This mindset shapes a financial behavior that sometimes clashes with the realities of risk and security. The report reveals that Gen Z is rewriting the traditional consumer rulebook. Unlike previous generations, they tend to save a larger portion of their income, more than their older counterparts. But they often keep these savings in digital wallets or even cryptocurrencies rather than conventional bank accounts. When it comes to spending, debit cards are their go-to payment method at checkout. Yet they are also the fastest adopters of newer payment technologies like Apple Pay and Buy Now Pay Later (BNPL) services. Amazon dominates as their preferred shopping platform. Mobile devices are their favored way to buy groceries, and social media influencers wield significant influence over their purchasing decisions. But beneath these headline trends lies a more subtle and important story. Gen Z's trust in digital payment methods is rooted in a belief in the immediacy and convenience of these systems, which can sometimes obscure the underlying risks involved. For example, while debit cards feel like money they actually own, they are often the first target for fraud attempts and generally offer less protection than credit cards when disputes arise. This is a critical point many people miss. Just because a payment method feels safer doesn't mean it is inherently more secure. Similarly, digital wallets have become a trusted place for storing funds. With 13% of Gen Z's savings held in these wallets and 6.3% in cryptocurrencies. However, the safeguards against fraud and loss vary widely among providers, meaning that the perceived security of these digital containers may not always match the reality. And then, there's the role of social influencers, who don't just affect what Gen Z buys, but also shape their confidence in those purchases. A remarkable 81% of Gen Z consumers report that they sometimes or often make purchases based on influencer recommendations, nearly 3 times the rate seen in baby boomers. Yet influencers have no direct role in ensuring the security of these transactions, which raises questions about how much trust should be placed in these social signals. For financial institutions, payment processors, and fintech companies, these findings carry significant implications. The decision to adopt a financial product is no longer driven solely by convenience or rewards. It's increasingly about trust that is sometimes based on the actual resilience of the system, and other times on the perceptions shaped by peers or personalities. This disconnect between perception and reality presents both opportunities for innovation and risks that must be carefully managed. The report also highlights other important trends. Gen Z saves a higher percentage of their income, 36% over the past 6 months compared to 27% for older generations. But they do so in newer, less traditional financial vehicles. They use BNPL services more frequently, 18% versus 12% for older consumers, but tend to hold fewer credit cards overall, 55% compared to 71%. Their average monthly balances are also lower, at $1,667 compared to $1,959 for other groups, which could influence how lenders approach credit underwriting and design rewards programs tailored to this generation. The takeaway for financial service providers is clear. While Gen Z's payment methods may look familiar on the surface, the foundation of their trust is fundamentally different. Bridging the gap between how this generation perceives financial security and the actual protections in place is just as crucial as delivering the right products at the right time. Are financial institutions ready to meet Gen Z's unique expectations, or will this trust become a vulnerability? What do you think? Does Gen Z's confidence in debit and digital wallets reflect smart financial behavior, or is it a risky blind spot? Share your thoughts below.